Let me read one of these comments before I retire for the night. And it's from Fritz. Fritz says, Gibson, I can never understand why you charging high prices for lawn care, having your customers pay for depreciated and used equipment when all they asked was for a fair price for your services. Can you help me understand why this is, Gibson? Because I am confused. See, Fritz, it's a lot of things in life that you will never understand. And operating a business is one of them. See, Fritz, guys like me, we go out and we clear the forest for guys like you to be able to drive your cars. Let me rephrase it so you can understand a little bit better. Guys like me, we become ruthless business owners and we build a huge company like Walmart. And then you can come in and apply and we'll let you stock the shelves at night while you go to school during the day. See, Fritz, you don't understand what it takes to own, operate, and run a successful business. Now let's break it down. Why is my prices so high? How is $70, $80 get the grass cut? How does $70, $80 to a $500,000 house a lot of money? How is $70, $80 to a $200,000 house? It's a lot of money. Since when did $70, $80 start becoming a lot of money? Why do I charge my clients to buy new equipment? Because I don't need a zero turn for my yard. Listen, I don't need a Ford F-250. I don't need a utility trailer. I don't need a zero turn. I don't need a backpack blower to maintain. That's to maintain their property. Only thing I need on my property is a 21-inch Craftsman and a and a battery operated. Look, if I didn't have a business, I would have a 21-inch Craftsman. I would have a Milwaukee battery operated string trimmer, hedge trimmer, and edger and blower. That's it. That's it. And I replace that 21-inch Craftsman probably every 2 years. See, owning and operating a business, Fritz. See, if I can go back to when I started my business, I remember when I became legit on paper. See, when I first started, I was running under the table. And I should have kept running under the table today. I wouldn't have to pay commercial auto insurance. I wouldn't have to pay quarterly taxes, how I'm paying. I wouldn't have to provide my own health care. It's a lot of things I would not have to do if I'd have been running under the table. Imagine when I left my full-time job, I stayed under the table. I'd have just kept reporting Micah Gibson, cutting grass as Gibson's Lawn Service. Micah Gibson, DBA, Gibson's Lawn Service. I'm only making 58,000. I would have cooked the books. I'd have cooked it every year. My first year full time, when I left my full time job, I'd have wrote down $42,251. The year after that, $45,283. The year after that, $49,391. I'd have let people pay me with Cash App. I'd have let people pay me with Venmo. I'd let people write me with checks, and I'd have stuffed all that money in my mattress, and I'd have slept good every night. But when you do things the right way, Fritz, just because I cut a property for $100 don't mean that whole $100 go in my pocket. Let's break down that $100, all right? $25 of gas was burned leaving my house, driving my F-250 to their house, gas in the mower, gas in the trimmer, gas in the backpack blower, the 2-cycle oil mix, and driving back to my house. $25 was burned. So we got $75 left. Now, you have to understand how much per day you need to put back for your commercial auto insurance, for your general liability, for your own health care, for your own retirement. because that's what it takes to run your own business. That's not including your personal bills. So see how $100 don't go far? Out of that $100 profit, you probably walking away with about $60. And then Uncle Sam wants his 25%. That's what you left with. Whatever 25% of $60. So if we go any lower, the profit margins will be even lower. So if we continue to raise the bar, the profit margins at the bottom will raise with the bar. You know how when you get your paycheck from your job, you see gross and you see net. I remember being at my full-time job making $30 an hour, and I look at all that gross. I'd be like, man, if they just give me all the gross, I just work 40 hours. I remember being at my full-time job, looking at my paycheck. I was working 4 10-hour shifts and 2 8-hour shifts. I would look at that check, I'd be like, man, if I just work 40 hours, that's enough. But it's like I work the 40 hours, and then the Friday and Saturday pays my taxes so I can walk away with the 40 hours. It's called net. See, Fritz, in order for me to stay in business, when it's time to buy equipment, run out and buy it, pay my bills, and raise my 5 children and raise my family. See, my kids go to a good school. My wife stays at home and raises the kids. She's not stressing about the light bill, the water bill. I got to get up and go to work, then come home from work, and then cook and clean and run behind the kids because my husband is making me split the bills 50-50. It's levels, Fritz. It's levels. Now, if your woman is splitting the bills with you 50-50, it's nothing wrong with that. But I understand that that's not going to work with the way I work, because I don't have time to come home, because you got to understand, if I work sun up, sun down, that's not going to work if my woman is working too. So I understand if my woman was working, I was working, I would have to stop at about 3 o'clock. I would have to stop at 3 o'clock, make sure the kids get off the bus. Or I can do what the other guys used to do at my full-time job. My wife worked during the day, then I worked at night, and we don't see each other till the weekend. Fritz, you will never understand.